Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Horizon, watching the stars through the large viewing window. The year was 2387, and humanity had been exploring space for over 300 years. Jake had spent most of his adult life among the stars, but he still felt amazed every time he saw a new solar system. "Captain, we're getting some strange readings from the third moon," said Lisa Carter, the ship's science officer. She was bent over her computer screen, her brown hair falling across her face as she studied the data. "There's something big under the surface." Jake walked over to her station. "What kind of big?" "Really big. Like the size of a small city. It's made of some kind of crystal material we've never seen before." Lisa looked up at him with excited eyes. "Captain, I think we found something important." Ryan Walsh, the ship's security chief, stepped forward. He was a tall man with careful eyes who always thought about danger first. "Could be a trap, Captain. We should be careful." Jake nodded. Ryan was right to be cautious, but this was why they were out here, to find new things, to learn about the universe. "Lisa, how deep is it buried?" "About 50 meters down. The readings show it has some kind of power source that's still active after who knows how long." Jake thought for a moment. They were far from Earth, far from any human colonies. If something went wrong, help would be months away. But they were explorers. This was their job. "Prepare an away team," Jake decided. "Lisa, you're with me. Ryan, bring 2 of your best people. We're going down to take a look." 2 hours later, Jake found himself standing on the moon's gray surface. The gravity was lighter than Earth, making each step feel like a small bounce. The air was thin, so they all wore spacesuits with clear helmets. Above them, the UES Horizon looked small against the black star field. "The readings are stronger here," Lisa said, checking her scanner. "Whatever it is, it's right below us." Ryan and his 2 security officers, Mike Torres and Jenny Brooks, kept watch while Lisa set up her equipment. She placed small devices in a circle around the area and connected them with cables. "This should give us a better picture of what's down there," she explained. "The sound waves will bounce off the structure and show us its shape." She turned on the machine. Immediately, all their scanners began beeping loudly. The ground under their feet started to vibrate. "That's not supposed to happen," Lisa said, looking worried. The vibration got stronger. Then the ground began to crack. Not small cracks, but big ones that spread out like a spider web. "Everyone back to the ship now," Ryan shouted. But before they could move, the ground opened up. A soft blue light came from below, growing brighter and brighter. The cracks spread wider, and they could see something rising from underground. It was huge, made of what looked like living crystal that pulsed with inner light. The structure was smooth and curved like it had been grown rather than built. As it rose higher, they could see openings that might be doors or windows. "My God," Lisa whispered. "It's beautiful." The structure stopped rising when it was about 10 stories tall. For a moment, everything was quiet except for their breathing in their helmets. Then one of the openings began to glow brighter. Something came out. It was clearly not human. It walked on 4 legs but stood upright like a person. Its body was covered in smooth, dark shell-like skin that reflected the crystal light. It had 4 arms and a head that was longer than a human head, with large eyes that glowed with the same blue light as the structure. More of them came out. Maybe 20 or 30. They moved in an organized way like soldiers. "Captain," Ryan said quietly, his hand moving toward his weapon. "Wait," Jake said. "Let's see what they want." The creatures formed a circle around the humans but kept their distance. Then one stepped forward. This one was different. Larger. Its shell skin had markings that seemed to move and change color. When it spoke, somehow they could understand it, as if the words appeared in their minds. "I am Queen Vexthera of the Zephyrian Empire. You have awakened me from my long sleep." Her mental voice was strong and commanding. "I have been waiting for suitable beings to arrive. You are not what I expected." Jake stepped forward, trying to look calm, even though his heart was racing. "I am Captain Jake Morrison of the United Earthship Horizon. We didn't mean to wake you, we were just exploring." The Queen tilted her head, studying him. Exploring. Yes, I can sense your curiosity. It is interesting. Your species is unknown to me. What are you called? We are humans. We come from a planet called Earth. Humans. The Queen seemed to taste the word. You have an unusual life energy. Very different from other species I have encountered. She moved closer, and Jake could see his reflection in her large eyes. My people have been searching for genetic compatibility for many cycles. You may be what we have been looking for. Lisa stepped up beside Jake. Genetic compatibility? What do you mean? The Queen turned her attention to Lisa. My species reproduces rarely. We must find the right biological match, or our offspring will not survive. It has become more difficult over time. Our race is dying. Jake felt sympathy for this strange, beautiful creature. We're sorry to hear that. Is there anything we can do to help? The Queen's eyes seemed to brighten. Perhaps. I must examine your finest specimens. It is the way of first contact between our peoples. Ryan moved closer to Jake. Captain, I don't like this. But Jake was thinking about diplomacy, about making friends instead of enemies, about the amazing opportunity to learn about a new species. What would this examination involve? He asked. A simple biological compatibility test. One of your males would participate in a traditional ceremony. If there is compatibility, both our species would benefit greatly. Jake looked at his team. Lisa nodded encouragingly. Ryan looked worried but said nothing. This could be the most important first contact in human history. We would be honored to participate in your ceremony, Jake said. Back on the UES horizon, Captain Jake Morrison called a meeting with his senior officers. They gathered in the main conference room, where the lights seemed dim after seeing the bright crystal structure on the moon's surface. I need a volunteer for this ceremony, Jake said, looking around the table. Someone smart, someone calm, and someone who can handle unexpected situations. Dr. Alex Chen raised his hand immediately. He was the ship's chief medical officer, a quiet man with steady hands and a curious mind. I'll do it, Captain. This could be the greatest scientific discovery in human history. We need to understand their biology. Ryan Walsh shook his head. Alex, we don't know what this ceremony really involves. It could be dangerous. Everything we do out here is dangerous, Alex replied. But think about what we could learn. A new species, new medical knowledge, maybe even ways to help them save their race. Lisa Carter nodded in agreement. Alex is right. This is why we're explorers, to make contact, to learn, to help when we can. Jake studied Alex's face. The doctor was brave and smart, but also careful. If anyone could handle an unknown alien ceremony, it would be him. Are you sure about this, Alex? I'm sure, Captain. Let me do this. 3 hours later, Alex stood at the entrance to the crystal structure. The Queen had sent 2 of her people to escort him inside. They moved smoothly and quietly like dancers. Alex followed them through corridors that glowed with soft blue light. The walls were amazing. They looked like living crystal that pulsed gently, almost like a heartbeat. Strange symbols appeared and disappeared on the surfaces, too quick for Alex to study properly. The air was warm and smelled like flowers he had never experienced before. They walked deeper into the structure until they reached a large round room. The ceiling was high and covered with crystals that gave off different colors of light. In the center of the room was a pool of glowing liquid that moved slowly, like thick honey. Queen Vex's Thara was waiting for him. She had changed since their first meeting. Her shell skin now showed patterns of gold and silver that moved across her body like flowing water. She was beautiful in a way that Alex had never seen before. Dr. Chen, she said, her mental voice softer now. You are the one who volunteered for the compatibility ceremony. Yes, Your Majesty. I'm honored to participate. Can you tell me what the ceremony involves? The Queen moved closer to him. It is a bonding ritual that allows us to test genetic compatibility between species. For my people, this process usually takes many attempts over long periods of time. Sometimes it never works at all. She gestured toward the glowing pool. The ceremony requires us to share life essence through physical and mental connection. Do not worry. I have performed this ritual many times. You will not be harmed. Alex nodded, though he felt nervous. He was a doctor and a scientist. He understood that reproduction was different for every species, but this was beyond anything he had studied. What do I need to do? Remove your clothing and enter the pool with me. The liquid will help our bodies adapt to each other. Then we will connect and I will determine if your species can help mine survive. Alex hesitated for a moment. This was much more intimate than he had expected. But he thought about the dying alien race, about the chance to help them, about the scientific knowledge they could gain. He removed his clothes and slowly entered the warm, glowing pool. The liquid felt strange against his skin, tingling and alive. Queen Vexthara entered from the other side, moving gracefully through the thick fluid. When she came close to him, Alex could feel something changing in his mind. It was like a door opening to thoughts and feelings that were not his own. He could sense the queen's loneliness, her worry about her people, her desperate hope that this ceremony might save them. Do not resist the connection, she said gently. Let our minds touch. The mental bond grew stronger. Alex could feel the queen's ancient memories, her centuries of searching for a solution to her people's problems. At the same time, she was experiencing his human thoughts, his curiosity and compassion. The physical part of the ceremony began. It was unlike anything Alex had ever experienced. The queen's body was different from human women, but there was a strange beauty in the differences. The glowing liquid around them seemed to help them connect in ways that should have been impossible. As their bodies joined, their minds became even more linked. Alex could feel the queen's surprise at how easily they connected. For her, this level of bonding usually took many attempts, if it worked at all. Time seemed to stop in the warm, glowing chamber. Alex lost track of how long the ceremony lasted. All he knew was the feeling of connection, of two very different beings finding a way to unite despite the vast differences between their species. When it was over, they separated slowly. Queen Vexithara's eyes were wide with shock. She placed her 4 hands on her body, feeling for changes that Alex could not understand. This is impossible, she whispered. I can feel it working already. The bonding was successful on the first attempt. Alex felt different too. There was still a faint connection to the queen's mind, like an echo of her thoughts. Is that unusual? Unusual? The queen's mental voice was filled with amazement and something that might have been fear. Dr. Chen, in 400 years of trying this ceremony with dozens of different species, it has never worked on the first attempt. Never. She moved away from him, her shell skin now showing rapid flashes of different colors. Your species? What are you? How is this possible? Before Alex could answer, he felt a strange sensation in his mind. It was like a new presence, small but growing. Through his connection with the queen, he realized what it was. The ceremony worked, he said quietly. Something is growing. Queen Vexithara's 4 hands pressed against her body again. Her eyes showed a mixture of joy and terror. Yes, life is beginning. But this should not be possible so quickly. What kind of beings are you humans? Alex climbed out of the pool and began putting on his clothes. He felt dizzy and different, like part of him was no longer entirely human. We're just explorers, he said. We came here to learn and to help. The queen watched him with her glowing eyes. You have done more than help, Dr. Chen. You may have saved my entire species, but I fear what this means for both our peoples. As Alex prepared to return to his ship, he could still feel the growing presence in his mind. Something new was beginning. Something that would change both humans and Zephyrians forever. But he did not yet know that Queen Vexithara's amazement was about to turn into rage. Dr. Alex Chen returned to the UES Horizon feeling strange and tired. His mind felt fuzzy, like he was trying to remember a dream that kept slipping away. Captain Jake Morrison met him in the shuttle bay, along with Lisa Carter and Ryan Walsh. How did it go? Jake asked, studying Alex's face. The doctor looked pale and confused. I think it worked. Alex said slowly. But something feels different. I can still sense her thoughts sometimes, like whispers in my head. Lisa stepped forward with her medical scanner. Let me check you over, Alex. Make sure you're okay. As Lisa ran the scanner over Alex's body, Ryan kept looking toward the moon's surface through the shuttle bay window. I don't like this, Captain. We don't know enough about these aliens or what they really want. The readings are strange, Lisa said, frowning at her scanner. Alex, your brain activity is different than normal. There are new patterns I've never seen before. Before Alex could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the ship. The red emergency lights started flashing. Captain, to the bridge, came the voice of Communications Officer Tony Rodriguez over the intercom. We have a problem. They rushed to the bridge where Tony was bent over his console with a worried expression. Captain, the crystal structure is changing. It's getting bigger, and there are more energy readings coming from underground. Jake looked at the main screen, which showed the moon's surface. The crystal structure had grown to twice its original size. More sections were rising from the ground, connected by glowing bridges. It looked like an entire city was being born from the rock. Captain, said Chief Engineer Beth Collins from her station, I'm detecting thousands of life signs down there. Whatever was sleeping in that structure is waking up. Alex suddenly grabbed his head and made a sound of pain. Through the mental connection he still had with Queen Vex's Thara, he could feel her emotions, and what he felt made his blood run cold. She was furious. Alex, what's wrong? Lisa asked, steadying him. The Queen, Alex said, his voice tight with pain. She's angry. Really angry. She thinks we've done something terrible to her. On the main screen, they could see movement around the crystal city. Dark shapes were flying out of the structure, moving toward their ship. Those look like spacecraft, Ryan said, checking his weapons console. Captain, we're about to have company. Jake made a quick decision. Beth, start the engines. Get us away from this moon. Tony, try to contact the Queen. Tell her we want to talk. I'm trying, Captain, Tony said, but she's not responding to any of our signals. The alien ships were getting closer. They moved in perfect formation like a military attack force. There were dozens of them, maybe hundreds. Alex collapsed into a chair, holding his head. I can hear her thoughts. She's screaming inside my mind. She thinks humans are some kind of weapon. What do you mean? Jake asked. The ceremony, Alex said, his voice strained. It worked too well. In her culture, immediate success in the bonding ritual means one of two things. Either the other species is evolutionary superior, or they're using biological warfare. Lisa's eyes went wide. She thinks we infected her with something? Worse, Alex said. She thinks we're so genetically powerful that we could destroy her, entire species. She's terrified. The first alien ships reached the UES horizon and began circling it like predators. They were beautiful and deadly, made of the same living crystal as the city, but shaped like giant insects with wings of pure energy. Captain, Beth called out. They're not firing yet, but our engines aren't strong enough to outrun them. Ryan was studying his tactical display. I count over 300 ships, Captain. More are still coming from the surface. Through his mental link with the Queen, Alex could feel her rage and fear growing stronger. She was giving orders to her military commander, a fierce warrior named General Crickstor. She's ordered them to capture us, Alex said. All of us. She wants to study humans to find out if we're a threat to her people. Jake looked around his bridge at his crew. They were good people, explorers and scientists, not soldiers. But they were also humans, and humans didn't give up easily. Tony, open all communication channels, broadcast on every frequency. Channels open, Captain. Jake spoke clearly and calmly. Queen Vex Thara, this is Captain Morrison. We are peaceful explorers. We came here to learn, not to harm anyone. Please let us talk. There was no response except for more alien ships surrounding them. Alex stood up suddenly, his face determined despite the pain in his head. Captain, I need to go back to her. What? Ryan stepped between Alex and the door. You're not going anywhere. It's too dangerous. You don't understand, Alex said. The mental connection we formed, it goes both ways. She's feeling my emotions too, but she's too angry and scared to notice. If I can get close to her, I can show her that we're not enemies. It's a trap, Ryan insisted. She'll kill you the moment you step off this ship. Alex shook his head. No, she won't. The bond we formed, it created something new. Something growing inside her that carries part of my genetic pattern. She can't hurt me without hurting it. Lisa was scanning Alex again. He's right about the genetic connection. Whatever happened during that ceremony, it created a permanent link between them. Captain Morrison looked at the alien ships surrounding, his vessel then at his medical officer who was volunteering to risk his life for all of them. Alex, are you sure about this? I'm sure, Captain. It's the only way. Before anyone could stop him, Alex was already heading for the shuttle bay. Through the mental link, he could feel something else mixed in with the Queen's anger. It was faint, but it was there. The growing life inside her was calling to him, and he was calling back. As Alex prepared to return to the Crystal City, the alien ships moved closer to the UES horizon. General Crixtor was preparing to board the human vessel and take its crew prisoner. But Queen Vexithera felt the pull of the mental bond too. Deep inside her rage and fear, she could sense Alex coming back to her. The growing life they had created together was affecting her thoughts, making her feel things she had never experienced before. For the first time in 400 years, Queen Vexithera was truly confused about what to do. The battle for understanding was about to begin. Dr. Alex Chen flew his shuttle through the swarm of alien ships. The crystal fighters surrounded him but did not fire. Through his mental connection with Queen Vexithera, he could feel her confusion. Part of her wanted to destroy him, but part of her was drawn to him by the growing life they had created together. Back on the UES horizon, Captain Jake Morrison watched the alien ships with worry. Tony, any word from Alex? His shuttle is still moving toward the Crystal City, Tony Rodriguez replied. The alien ships are following him but not attacking. Lisa Carter was studying her instruments. Captain, I'm reading some very strange energy patterns from the direction of the Queen's city. It's like the whole structure is alive and thinking. Ryan, Walsh stood at his weapons console ready for battle. Captain, we should follow Alex. He might need backup. No, Jake said firmly. If we move too close, it might trigger an attack. We have to trust Alex to handle this. Alex landed his shuttle at the base of the Crystal City. The structure had grown even larger since he left. Towers of living crystal stretched high into the moon's thin atmosphere, pulsing with rainbow colors. It was beautiful and frightening at the same time. General Crixtor was waiting for him with a squad of Zephyrian warriors. The general was larger than the other aliens, with darker shell skin and fierce red eyes. When he spoke, his mental voice was harsh and full of anger. Human, you will come with us. The Queen wants to study you before she decides how to deal with your people. Alex walked calmly toward the general, even though his heart was racing. I came here to talk to her, to explain that we're not enemies. The Queen does not wish to hear your lies, Crixtor said. Your species has contaminated our royal bloodline with your genetic weapons. This cannot be forgiven. As they walked through the crystal corridors, Alex could feel the growing life inside the Queen calling to him. The connection was getting stronger, and with it came flashes of memory and understanding. He began to see the truth about Zephyrian society and why the Queen was so afraid. The Zephyrians were an ancient race, millions of years old. They had once been the rulers of a vast empire that spanned many star systems, but over time, their ability to reproduce had weakened. Genetic problems had made it harder and harder for them to have children. Many Zephyrian colonies had died out completely. Queen Vexithera was one of the last fertile queens of her species. She had spent centuries searching the galaxy for a species that could help save her people. Every failure had made her more desperate and more careful. Alex also began to understand something else. The growing life inside the Queen was not just a baby. It was something new, something that carried the best qualities of both species. It was developing faster than any Zephyrian child ever had, and it was already showing signs of intelligence. When they reached the Queen's chamber, Alex found her in the center of the glowing pool where their ceremony had taken place. But now the pool was different. It had grown larger and brighter, and symbols were appearing in the liquid itself. Queen Vexithera looked at Alex with her large, glowing eyes. Her shell skin was changing colors rapidly, showing her emotional confusion. "You have returned," she said, her mental voice mixed with anger and something else. "Why?" "Because I understand now," Alex said, stepping closer to the pool. "I can feel what you're feeling through our connection. You're not angry at me. You're afraid." "Afraid." The queen's colors flashed red. "I am Queen Vexithara. I do not feel fear." "Yes, you do," Alex said gently. "You're afraid that humans might be too genetically powerful. You're afraid that our child might not be truly Zephyrian. You're afraid that your people will reject you for bonding with an alien species." The queen's colors shifted to deep blue, the Zephyrian sign of deep emotion. "You know nothing of our ways. I know more than you think." Alex placed his hand over his heart. "I can feel our child growing inside you. It's beautiful, Vexthera. It's not a weapon or a contamination. It's hope." Through their mental bond, Alex shared his own memories with the queen. She saw his childhood on Earth, his training as a doctor, his desire to help others. She felt his genuine care for her and for the child they had created together. The queen's shell skin began to show softer colors. "The child, it is developing so quickly. In just hours, it has grown more than most Zephyrian offspring grow in months." "That's not a bad thing," Alex said. "It means our child is strong. It means the combination of our species creates something better than either of us alone." Suddenly, the symbols in the pool began to move faster. The liquid started to glow brighter, and both Alex and the queen could feel the child's presence more strongly. "It's trying to communicate," Alex said in wonder. Queen Vexithara placed her 4 hands on her body, feeling the life growing within her. "Impossible. Zephyrian children do not develop consciousness until after birth." But through their shared connection, both parents could sense something that felt like thoughts, like a mind trying to form words. The child was somehow using their mental bond to reach out to both of them. Images began to appear in their minds. They saw a future where humans and Zephyrians worked together, where the genetic combination created new possibilities for both species. They saw colonies where human adaptability combined with Zephyrian technology to build amazing cities among the stars. "The child is showing us possibilities," Alex said softly. "It's showing us what we could become together." Queen Vexithara's eyes grew wide. "This is not possible. How can an unborn child have such knowledge?" "Maybe it's not just our child," Alex suggested. "Maybe it's the first of a new kind of being, one that understands both our species and can help us understand each other." At that moment, General Krixtor burst into the chamber with his warriors. "My queen, the human fleet approaches. They are coming to rescue their man." Through the crystal walls they could see the lights of approaching ships. Captain Morrison had decided not to wait any longer. Queen Vexithera stood up, her shell skin flashing with decision colors. "Krixtor, call off the attack. I must speak with the human captain." "My queen, they could be bringing weapons." "No," the queen said, looking at Alex. "They are bringing curiosity, and perhaps that is exactly what we need." Alex felt relief wash through their mental connection. The queen was finally beginning to understand. But he also felt something else. The child was growing stronger, and it had its own ideas about how to bring the two species together. The real test was about to begin. Captain Jake Morrison stood in the main meeting chamber of the Crystal City, surrounded by beautiful walls that pulsed with gentle light. He had brought Lisa Carter and Tony Rodriguez with him, while Ryan Walsh stayed on the UES horizon ready for trouble. Queen Vexithera sat across from them, her shell skin showing calm blue colors. Dr. Alex Chen stood beside her, looking different than before. His eyes seemed brighter, more aware, as if he could see things that others could not. "Captain Morrison," the Queen said, her mental voice much softer than during their first meeting. "I owe you an apology. I believed your people were a threat to mine. I was wrong." Jake looked carefully at the alien queen. "We never wanted to cause any problems, Your Majesty. We're explorers, not conquerors. I understand that now, she replied. Dr. Chen has helped me see the truth through our mental connection. Humans are not weapons. You are something much more valuable. You are partners. Lisa stepped forward with her scanner. Your Majesty, may I ask about the child? Our readings show that it's developing much faster than normal. Queen Vexithara placed her hands on her body, where the new life was growing. The child is unlike anything in Zephyrian history. It grows strong and develops consciousness while still unborn. Through our bond, it has been showing Alex and me visions of the future. What kind of visions? Jake asked. Alex spoke up, his voice filled with wonder. We see humans and Zephyrians working together. We see colonies built with the best of both technologies. We see children who can adapt to any world and solve problems that neither species could handle alone. Suddenly, alarms began sounding throughout the Crystal City. General Krixtor rushed into the chamber, his red eyes flashing with worry. My Queen human warships approach, many of them. Through the crystal walls, they could see lights in space getting brighter. Tony checked his communicator and looked concerned. Captain, those are Earth Defense Force ships. They must have received our distress signal. Jake felt his stomach drop. The EDF ships would see the alien fleet surrounding the UES horizon and assume the worst. How many ships, Tony? At least 20, Captain. Heavy cruisers and battle destroyers. Queen Vexithara stood up quickly, her colors shifting to worried purple. Captain Morrison, if your military attacks my people, we will have to defend ourselves. This could start a war between our species. Not if I can help it, Jake said. He turned to Tony. Open a channel to the EDF fleet. Emergency priority. Channel open, Captain. This is Captain Morrison of the UES Horizon. Admiral, we are not under attack. We are in diplomatic negotiations with a new alien species. Do not fire on the alien ships. The response came quickly. Captain Morrison, this is Admiral Kate Phillips aboard the EDF Titan. Our sensors show you surrounded by hostile craft. Prepare for rescue operations. Alex suddenly grabbed his head and made a sound of pain. Through his connection with the Queen, he could feel something happening to the child. The stress, he said. The fear and anger from both fleets is affecting the baby. It's trying to be born now. Queen Vexithara's eyes went wide. It's too early. Zephyrian children need more time to develop. But this isn't just a Zephyrian child, Lisa said. It's part human too. Maybe it knows what it's doing. The Queen doubled over as waves of pain hit her. The glowing pool in the center of the chamber began to bubble and shine brighter. The crystal walls around them started to pulse faster, like a heartbeat. The city is responding to the Queen's condition, Alex said. It's trying to help with the birth. Outside, the Earth ships were moving closer to the alien fleet. Admiral Phillips was preparing to attack to save what she thought was a captured human crew. Jake made a desperate decision. Tony, patch me through to both fleets, all ships, human and alien. Connected, Captain. Jake's voice rang out across space, reaching every ship. This is Captain Jake Morrison. I am ordering all ships to stand down. We are about to witness the birth of the first human-alien hybrid child in history. This child represents hope for both our species. If you fire your weapons now, you will be destroying the future. Queen Vexithara cried out in pain. The birth was beginning, and it was happening fast. Alex knelt beside her, taking her hand. Through their mental bond, he could feel everything she was feeling. I'm here, he said softly. We're doing this together. The Crystal City began to sing. That was the only way to describe the sound that filled the air. Beautiful, harmonic tones that seemed to come from the walls themselves. The Zephyrian ships outside began to glow in rhythm with the song. On the human ships, Admiral Phillips and her crews watched in amazement as the alien fleet performed what looked like a celebration dance among the stars. Admiral, came a voice from her science officer. The alien ships aren't in attack formation. They're in some kind of ceremonial pattern. In the crystal chamber, Queen Vexithara gave birth to a child unlike any that had ever existed. It was small and beautiful, with features that combined the best of both species. Its skin was smooth like human skin but had a faint shimmer like Zephyrian crystal. Its eyes were large and bright, showing intelligence that seemed far beyond its age. The moment the child was born, something amazing happened. Every person on every ship, human and alien, felt a wave of emotion that was not their own. Through the mental connection between Alex and the Queen, the child somehow reached out and touched the minds of everyone nearby. What they felt was pure love and hope. The child showed them all the same visions it had been sharing with its parents. A future where humans and Zephyrians explored the galaxy together, where their combined strengths made both species better than they had ever been alone. Admiral Phillips felt tears running down her face as she experienced the child's emotions. All ships stand down. Repeat, all ships stand down. General Crixtor knelt before the Queen and the newborn child. Forgive me, my Queen. I did not understand. This child is not a threat to our people. It is our salvation. Alex held his son, feeling overwhelmed by love and responsibility. The child looked up at him with eyes that seemed to hold ancient wisdom. He's going to change everything, Alex whispered. Queen Vex's Thara, tired but happy, reached out to touch the child. He already has. Look around you. Through the crystal walls, they could see human and alien ships moving closer together, no longer as enemies but as curious neighbors. Officers from both fleets were requesting permission to meet and learn about each other. Captain Morrison smiled as he watched his medical officer become a father and diplomat at the same time. Alex, I think Earth is going to want you to stay here as our first alien ambassador. I think I'd like that, Alex replied, looking at his son and the woman who had become so much more than just an alien queen to him. The child in his arms made a soft sound, and somehow they all knew he was trying to say his first word. When it came, it was spoken in both human and Zephyrian at the same time. Future, the child said, and in that crystal chamber on a distant moon, the future of two species began.